Hey everybody, it's ASIC Eric, and today we are going to tackle cutting and buffing this guy, the firewall and the cowl. I remember we flow coated this last time we were out here, so it's in pretty good shape. There's still a little bit of crap in here that we're going to try and get out. Main thing of concern I have here, hopefully this will come out. Gone through this before. There's a little sag running through here. There you see it. Right there. Not too dramatic, but it's there. And there's a run right here that we want to get out. The texture is actually pretty nice here. It's sprayed out pretty decently, as you can see. But we can do better. Sorry, zoom out. This is only the second time in my life I've ever done this, so hopefully I don't do a terrible job, but I got a bunch of tools at my disposal here. So we're going to start with some 1000 on the tough spots that I was just showing there. I also got my little tungsten block, finally came in the mail. I ordered this from Spray Guns Direct, and the first one just never showed up. I waited 2 weeks and it never showed up, so they sent me another one. So I finally have that. That will be useful for any big chunky stuff sticking out. I'm going to try it on this run here and see. It's so light, I'm not sure it'll be able to dig into it, but we'll try. So I may not get a lot of use out of it, but we'll see. So if I find some big chunk sticking out somewhere, it might come in handy. Probably not going to end up using that very much here because I already got most of the big trash out. Anyway, so we got that. And then we're going to hit 1500 here wet. Using the buffer with the interface pad. Get that out. This guy. That guy's ready to go. And then we have 3000. I also have some 1000 little pads here. I might use these in this area here. I'll go over that in a second. But we're going to go 1000 on the tough spots, 1500, then 3000. I might have some small 3000s here. I have a 3-inch orbital I bought. I've got an interface pad for that so that I can use those guys. And then I have the buffers here, or pads rather, a couple different types of pads. And then over here we have the 3M Perfected kit with all the different compounds and polishes, etc. Got my buffer. I got a big wool pad as well, in addition to those pads. So we got a lot of stuff. But first order of business is we're going to start with the 1000 and try and get the nasty stuff off, and we'll see how it goes. All right, here's a before shot. Hopefully we'll be able to see a difference when we're done. Put the big light over there to get us something to look at. All right, I tried to hit that with that little tungsten block. It's just too flat. There's not really anything there for it to dig into. I'm gonna get my little paint stick. Got some, let's see here. Cut off a piece of 1000 here. Go for it. Let's see if this does the trick. So that's just a paint stick. We'll give it a go. See if we can get that to sand out at all. Probably get my spray bottle, some water on it. That's pretty stubborn. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't want to budge. Remember, I worked on this before. I flow coated it too. And it didn't want to come off then. This guy is a squeegee. It's got a good part of it, but it's still not going. microfiber cloth. Keep this relatively clean here. Still see it. I may not be able to get this, as I said. I think it goes pretty far down in there. Now we're gonna give it a little bit. I only have probably two coats of clear on this at this point, so I don't want to get too aggressive with it either. It's pretty hard to see at this point. That might be good enough. We're not done here anyway. We're gonna hit it with the 1500 and everything else. So. Well, you can see that. It's kind of just a ripple now. We'll go a little bit more and then we're gonna quit working on that one. Like I said, I don't want to dig too much here. Call it there. I don't want to go at it too hard. That's pretty well gone at that point. All right, I'll zoom out so you can see the sag here. It's not so easy for me to see where this is. Well, we're gonna give it a go. I can feel it. You can probably hear it. It's not even. I know my head's in the way. Sorry. Oh, that might be it. We may have it. Flip this around. Let me take this off here. Get my squeegee. Spot right there. Yeah, that's it. I think we got it. All right. I don't think there's anything else that really needs a lot of attention here. So I think we're going to switch to the 1500 pad now. Get the compressor charged up here. All right, I'm actually going to give this guy a try here. Never used this thing before. We got a lot of edges here, so this is still, it's 3-inch, but it's probably still too big. I got it on the lowest speed. See how it goes. I'd say that's pretty safe. Turn it up a little bit. 3. Okay, this is 1000 on the Trizact. 1000 Trizact pad, I should say. You can see it's got a little haze to it now. Lost my paper towel. That works pretty well. I'm going to stay away from this edge here. I don't want to burn through. Stay away from these edges as much as possible as well. But yeah, this seems to work pretty nice. Now the edges here, those are scary. Probably zoomed in too far for you there. So, try and be real careful in these areas here. Seems to work pretty well. All right, I'll cut you off for now while I grind on this. All right, we'll show you what we got here. So you can still see some texture in this here. So we got a little more to go. And you see this stuff, this is what we're trying to get rid of. But we have to be careful with stuff like that that's in the base coat. So I don't want to get too aggressive right there. But you see it's pretty clean. There's not much to be done here. So I'll keep going after this a little bit. See how much of this stuff we can get out, and again, without being too aggressive with it. You know, I could probably live with that right there. It's pretty smooth. All right, this is about as far as I want to take it with the 1000. There's still some orange peel in here, but this is really hard to sand because of these things, and I don't want to break through on one of these, so I'm going to call that good. You can see it's not completely uniform. Like I said, I've only done this once before, and it was on a much smaller area than this, so I'm being really cautious here. This is largely covered up by the leaf guard and stuff here too anyway, so I'm not too worried about this. We'll see what it looks like after the 3000, but I'm going to move back now to the firewall. You can see here all the little low spots there, and there you can see the chicken skin, as Pops calls it. So it looks pretty flat here. There's a little bit left right there. Maybe I'll work on that spot. I don't know if you can see that. Right there. So work on that a little bit more, then we'll go to the 1500 on the DA. There's not a lot of area to work with in here. To get this big old DA in there. And I gotta stay away from all the edges again. Much of anything, is it? Oh, it is. It's just so light. You can see that. It is working, just very slowly. Probably would have been better to have some 1000 here, but I don't have any 1000 DA paper. See any clear coat bubbling up or anything here. Yeah, it should look kind of soapy, right? It is working, it's just really slow. Yeah, definitely would have been better to have some 1000 grit here. Alright, I'll cut you off. Or not. Alright, I just switched to doing the 1500 dry instead of wet. and it cut a lot faster. Even in the wet one, I was noticing there were some swirl marks in it, so it was being a little sketchy even with the wet. But it looks pretty good. You can see it's not perfect. Again, I don't want to get too close to these edges and things, so, but this looks real smooth here. Hopefully you can see that. Just a tiny little bit of orange peel left, a little bit over here. This is kind of over in the fender area, so again, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I might hit this a little more down here at the bottom, but I don't think you're going to be able to, nah, you're not going to be able to see that. All right, I'm leaving this side alone, not touching it. There's too much stuff going on over there. All right, so let's get the 3000 Trizact out and hit this. If you've never seen the Trizact before, it's interesting stuff. These are tiny little triangles in there, I guess. So, okay. Let's hit the 1500 on. Soaked more 1500 than I needed. From what I've heard, you don't really need to soak the Trizact or pre-soak it. It just kind of does its thing. Let's see. If I didn't mention it before, my water bucket over here has a few drops of Dawn dishwashing detergent in it to make it a little slippery. Dip my DA in that to get some soap. You can see a little soap on there maybe. Be a little more aggressive down toward the edges here with this because this is such a fine paper. I don't know if it's going to do anything for those chicken skins or not, but we'll give it a try. Hopefully you can see that it's got a, oops, turn this around. You can see it's got a shine to it now. So we didn't get this completely smooth here. You can still see a little bit of texture in that clear, but you remember how wavy this thing was. Up here is pretty nice. I'm digging that. That looks real nice. Yeah, So it actually did take out some of the orange peel on the edges here where I went over it with just the 3000, so that must not have been much left there. So yeah, good. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there, move our attention up here. I do not have those little 3000s. I should have got some, but I didn't. But I have some just little pads, so I'll do that up here, and then we'll move on to buffing, or rubbing compounds, etc. All right, it's not as easy to do this by hand without the DA. So this is not quite as glossy and smooth as that is, you see, but it's pretty good. Feels very smooth. Like I said, there are still some imperfections in it, but they're minor. So I'm going to go ahead and get the buffer out here. I think I'll start on the top here. This should be the easiest. I'll save that for last, so we'll start here. So one of the things I'm never clear about is all these different foam pads and what constitutes a finishing pad and whatever. The griots pad, griots, however you want to pronounce it, they're nice. They say correcting and finishing. That cover all the cases I need? I don't know. But I'm going to start this with the Perfected #1 compound. I'll go across here and see what we get. See, all of the Perfected system has 1, 2, 3. So you start out with the rubbing compound and you move up to the machine glaze or whatever it is. We'll get there. I have never used this orbital polisher here with this 3M stuff, so I'm not really sure how this is going to go. And again, what speed to use. Smells nice. Smells like wax in a car. I haven't done that in a long time. I forget what I'm supposed to do here. Supposed to wipe this off or what? Let me read the directions here. I'll get back to you. Yes, remove with a soft, damp cloth. All right, here's a soft, damp cloth. So what we're looking for here is just to basically get rid of the 3000 scratches. That thing works pretty fast. I don't know how well you can see that. I'll get you up here. So this is not going to be beautiful and done here because this is just the first step. But there you can see there. You can see the little haze along the edge here. All right, so that's got to go away eventually. So this is after the compound, and this is before the compound, right? Yeah, it's pretty nice. And I sanded in just a few places here. Yeah, looks good. All right, I'm just going to keep going this, and we'll bring you back when that step's done. All right, I think that's done. Did not appear to run into any difficulties with anything, which is good. You know, I'm digging that buffer down into these little spots and stuff. It doesn't appear to be cutting through or anything, which is nice. That pad's pretty soft. I have the buffer on 3, as I said, so it's not running real fast. So that looks nice. So we'll go ahead. I want to finish this before I move. No, let's do it in stages. So, okay, that's done. Now let's move on to this with the same thing with 1. I'll switch to the. I'm going to use the wool pad on this one to start with. All right, I've got the buffer set at 1000 RPM. Again, pretty low. Don't want to do any damage here. Put some of that on there. This thing on. Yes. Smear it around. And go. fuzz. Hopefully you can see how nice that looks already. And one more cup. Wow, that's a lot of trash. Whoops. And I'm trying to run the buffer. The buffer runs clockwise as I'm holding it here, so that as it spins, the buffer is going off the edge of the panel, because if it comes the other way, it'll dig into the panel and it can cut through the paint. I think that looks pretty good. Let me clean that off and then we'll see where we stand. Doesn't take much, goes pretty fast. Can you see that? Yeah, it looks pretty shiny. Yep, that's pretty fancy. Ooh, nice. You can see a difference here. So before, after. Before, after. And we're not even done. All right, I'm gonna take the small buffer and get into those little corners and things that I can't get to with the big buffer. All right, that's looking pretty good. We're gonna move on to step 2, which is machine polish. All right, I switched to a black finishing pad on this guy. I marked it with a number 2 with a Sharpie, so I know this was the machine polish one instead of the finishing one, whatever that is. And let's go. Same thing, we're just trying to get into those little corners. Primarily across the top here and these edges over here. I did turn the speed up on this guy up to 5. When I ran it at 3, it didn't really seem to do much. Of course, technically you could do this whole panel with that thing. I don't have to use the big buffers, but it'd be easier with the big buffer. I don't know if that top edge is going to come out or not. It's being kind of stubborn. It's not cleaning up very well. So wipe it off with a wet microfiber and then take tack, well, not a tack cloth, but a shop towel. A body shop towel, not just a normal shop towel. So I would expect when I'm done with this stage that you can't really see anything, but I still can, so I don't think I'm gonna get it here. I may have to go back to the rubbing compound. Let me show you. So if you can see this edge here, it's still kind of dull. Same thing here. Yeah, it's still sanding stuff right there, maybe. I don't know if that's going to come out, so I may have to... Yeah, that doesn't look very good back here at all. That might even be from the 1000. I'm going to have to do a little more work down here in that corner. That's not coming out very well. The rest of this is going okay. So I'm going to put the... what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. I might go back to 3000 in here and try and clean this up. And just to show you what that looks like. So that's what it looks like when you hit it with 3000. Now it looks nice and uniform here though. So I think that's going to be better. And now I'll go back to the rubbing compound on the little guy. Let's see if I can clean all that up. Give you a look there. So that definitely looks better. So yeah, the rubbing compound wouldn't take, that was basically 1,000 or 1,500 scratches, 1,500 I guess. Wouldn't get those out. So I had to go back to 3,000. Didn't take much with the 3,000 to clean it up. Sorry, pointing the right place here. Zoomed in too far. So this looks pretty nice now. There's a little bit of a haze around the edge, which I'm hoping will come out with the higher compounds. I'd say it looks pretty good. All right, back to machine polish number 2. So I came up here to do the step 2, and it really didn't look very good, and I realized the first step I did there with the rubbing compound, I really didn't hit it hard enough. So this is the rubbing compound here, and this is what it was like last time. So I was just being a little too careful last time. You can still see the 3,000 scratches in it, so it needs to look more like that. So I'm going over this again with the rubbing compound, and then I'll move on to that guy. All right, I think we're gonna call it right there. Let's see if we can get the after shot. Any of those compared to what we had before. All right, here's a before shot. Hopefully we'll be able to see a difference when we're done. Put the big light over there to get us something to look at. I only went up through step 2. I didn't do step 3. It's a firewall. What do you want? It looks pretty good. It's still got some texture in it. So I'd be curious from you guys what you think I could have done to get rid of more texture. It looked flat when I sanded it with the 1500, but it's not, obviously. So let me know what you think. And in fact, if you come out here, I don't know if you can see it, but you can still see that dang sag in it. It's still there. Certainly looks better than it did, but it's not done. The cowl did not come out as nice as the firewall. I think it's because I skipped the 1500 step because I didn't have any 1500. So I'm going to get some 1500, get some more different Trizac pads, the little ones, 1500, maybe 2000. Because you can see it's still hazy, right? I went over this multiple times. I even took it all the way back to 3,000 to try and clean it up. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's still sanding scratches in it from the 1,000, I think. So basically, no matter how much I go over this, I can't really get it any better than this. It doesn't look bad. It's just a little hazy, which is unfortunate. I may leave that. I may come back to it someday. I don't know. But you can see, comparing that to that, it's just not as shiny. It still has texture in it, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. Not going to complain. I don't want the car to look like that, so when I get around to doing the car, I'd rather find a way to get that glass smooth. Maybe it means more clear coat, I don't know. Let you guys know. Tell me what you think. So yeah, that's going to do it for today. Next time we're going to start on reassembly on this. I'm going to post another video with some questions after this one, just to break it up, see what you guys think. But that's going to do it. Take care, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one.